The American truck driver has not had a pay increase in over 20 years. This pisses me off.
Freedom has many difficulties, and democracy is not perfect. But we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
The American truck driver has built this country. My family, my father, brother-in-law, several of my uncles have served in the military. That's where a lot of them got their experience to drive trucks. A lot of them have spent years on the road driving trucks. They have missed out on life to drive trucks and to build the United States of America. Truck drivers are in an extremely dangerous profession. Many truck drivers have lost their lives due to avoidable and unavoidable accidents on the road. You would think after years and years of blood, sweat, tears, unrealistic conditions, that the American truck driver would be rewarded for his and her contributions to the United States. But no, that is not the case. We are treated as second-class citizens. In a previous video that I put out, I stated that I made as much money back in the early 2000s when I started as I do now. I have found the receipts. It took me some digging. It took me some time. But I found those receipts. Before I get into the receipts, which I will very shortly here, I want you to stop and think about something. What was the cost of living in the early 2000s? I remember my house payment in the early 2000s was just barely over $500 a month. I live in the northeastern part of Arkansas. I had a two or 3 year old house when I purchased it. I think the total cost of the house was just slightly above $100,000 in 2000. My mortgage cost on that house, if I remember correctly, was just slightly over $500 per month. I had a brand new Nissan truck. I believe my payment on that was around $150 per month. This was a brand new truck. I was working in a factory just before I got into truck driving. If I remember correctly on that, I was making somewhere in the neighborhood of $450 to $500 per week for my pay working at that factory. I did not think that was good money. I was living basically check to check. I had other expenses besides the house and the truck, of course. It was an okay living, but it wasn't great. Upon a lot of discussion, I decided to get into truck driving. This was the year 2000. Groceries were cheap. Gas was cheap. A lot of normal purchases, tires, oil changes, very cheap. Everything was low cost. Extremely low cost compared to now. So getting to my paychecks here, I will post them up. They're probably a little blurry. You got to think these are printed on 20-year-old paper. And I took a picture of them with my cell phone and cropped them to where they could fit onto the screen here. But with that being said, I wrote them down just in case that you cannot make out the numbers. I assure you this is what these numbers are. 11/14/03, November 14th, 2003, 20 years ago. Okay, 20 years ago. My net, not my gross. This was my net. This was my bring home. $1,038.71. 11/21/03, $1,272.79. 11/28/03, $1,093.79. December 5th, 2003, $1,091.17. 12/12/03, December 12th, 03, $1,026.35. 12/19/03. This one went down, and I want to explain why this is. You should figure this out, but in case you don't, what is 12/19/03? It's nothing but what happens just a few days after that, Christmas. I took off a couple of days to spend time with my family over Christmas. 12/19/03, $853.40. You have to think, in those few checks there, if you just take 4 of those checks, that is 4,000. A couple of those checks were 1,100. One was 1,023. One was 1,200. 4,000. 4,500. $4,700. $4,700 in 4 weeks in the early 2000s. when everything was so cheap back then. Inflation has skyrocketed since then. Taxes have skyrocketed since then. My 2021 pickup that I have a 2021 Chevrolet 2500 HD. Almost $60,000 for that truck new. $60,000. The little Nissan truck that I had back in the early 2000s, that truck was, I think, 12,000, 14,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, comparatively speaking, those are world difference of vehicles. You know, you're talking a little 4-cylinder 5-speed with roll-up windows compared to a 3/4 ton truck with a towing capacity on it that just blows the Nissan out of the water, with a 6.6 liter V8. That, I mean, they're nowhere in comparison on the trucks. But can you find a 2023 or 2024 Nissan truck brand new today for $12,000 or $14,000? I don't know how much those trucks are, but they're not $12,000 or $14,000. What type of house can you find for $100,000 today? How much is gas now compared to what it was in the early 2000s? I know of an owner-operator that bought a 1997 or 98 Freightliner Classic brand new. The truck was bought by him brand new for $98,000. I'm going to post a picture up right here, 2024 Kenworth W900. A very comparable truck to the Freightliner Classic. Over $200,000. Let that sink in. Our pay as company drivers has been stagnant for 20 years when the whole world is just up, 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 up. Everything just constantly increases. Even if we were to be at a comparable rate of income today, what about all those years past that we have been stagnant? Look at all that money that we have lost out on. We have not had a pay increase in 20 years. In fact, a lot of jobs out here in trucking, the pay has went down. To be honest with you, it really hasn't been stagnant. Our pay has went down because it has not kept up with the cost of living. Our pay is a flat line that doesn't go up. If it does go up, it's very, very slight. But everything around us is going up. So what that means is our pay actually does not keep up, so it's falling down. We are stuck in the year 2000 for truck driver pay. And truck drivers sit and absorb it. They just sit and absorb it. Here is another thing that I have noticed as a trend that a lot of trucking companies want to do nowadays. This did not used to be the case in the early 2000s. If you applied for a company driving job in the early 2000s and you come to that trucking company, really no matter which one it was, and you said, I have 20 years driving experience of a truck, you were at a higher pay scale. This company right here that I work for right now, it doesn't matter if you have 2 years experience. That's their lowest level that they will accept by their insurance. You must have 2 years experience. If you come and apply for that job with 2 years experience, or you come and apply for that job with 20 years experience, you're at the same pay starting out. This company here does not pay for experience. They say if you've got a clean record and you've got 2 years experience, you're good. If you have 20 years experience and your record is good, you're at the same pay. Your experience, your knowledge, your blood, sweat, and tears that you have put into trucking mean nothing to us. You mean nothing to us. That is what this company is doing. But this company is not alone. Just about every company you call, if you're looking for a job in trucking right now, they all work the same. They're jumping on the bandwagon and they're all doing the same thing. You cannot find a job in trucking where a person with 2 years experience gets paid $1,000 a week and a person out here with 30 years experience gets paid $4,000 a week. If you know of that company out here, share it. Put it in the comments and share it. Tell me a company out here. Tell me a truck driving company out here that if you have 20, 30, or 40 years experience, that you can make $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a week working for that company. The minute you put the name of that company down in the comments, their phone is going to explode tomorrow. Every person that watches this video will call that number if you're an experienced truck driver, because I guarantee you don't make that with 20 years experience out here on the road. That is sad. That is very, very, very sad. And you know what's sadder still than that? What I'm about to post right here. I've got it saved to my phone, and I'm about to post it right here on this video. President Shelley Simpson of JB Hunt will receive a 10.3% pay increase for 2023. And her salary for the year will be $800,000. Up from $725,000 in 2022. She received a 20.8% raise in 2022. Including her August promotion to president, her total compensation rose by 140.5% to $8.81 million. Let that sink in. Her annual salary, her annual compensation, $8.8 million for one person. For one person. You know where the money in trucking is going? Straight to the top. It is like a vacuum. It is being sucked from the bottom and pushed to the top. That is what is happening with this company, with this country. All of us workers out here mean nothing. We mean nothing. All of the hard work, all of the dangerous situations that we put ourselves in as American truck drivers mean nothing. I put out a video that said corporate trucking is ungodly. Martin Transportation ended their driver benefits last year, just a couple of weeks before Christmas. This is the new normal with corporations in trucking. This is the new normal. This is how we are treated. This is what we get. I don't like it. And I made this channel for this very reason. To bring awareness and to put it out there of how screwed we are. We are being worked over, ran over, and screwed by this country. Corporations, corporate executives, lobbyists, and our own federal government. It has become a situation where it's us against them. This country is supposed to be we the people, of the people, for the people. That has been burned and threw in the trash. Now it is us against them.